Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Telescope Podcast. Thank you for listening.
What's up, everybody? Everyone in this place, if you could do a handstand, I want to see your feet up in the air right now. Wave them around, that's right. Woo! We're the hype.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the Telescope Podcast, where we look at culture through the spyglass of faith. I'm Matthew Seipel Anderson. You can't handle the truth. What was that line? That old Jack Nicholson movie, I think it was. You can't handle the truth. Anyway, we're talking about truth. When I was in junior high, I played the trumpet. And it came easy for me. I actually really enjoyed it. There was a problem, though. I never practiced. The teacher gave out these sheets, for us to record our practice time. And yeah, I turned mine in faithfully. My sheet recorded a half hour to an hour of practice, and my parents always signed off. Here's the thing though, I lied. None of it was true. I never practiced. I lied to my parents, I lied to my teacher, and as you can probably guess, my career in junior high band was very short-lived, 1 year. Yep. In our culture, truth finds itself in peril, drowned by millions of voices on social media, spun by talking heads on TV, brushed and colored by Photoshop, chopped, weighed, and framed by print media. What is truth? We love truth. We hate lies when it comes to our own life and how they affect us. Jesus actually had a really interesting exchange with a politician who asked that very question, what is truth? I'm just going to read some. This is coming from John 18. Pilate went out to them and said, "What accusation do you bring against this man?" So they had brought Jesus in and accused him of things. And they answered and said to him, "If he were not an evildoer, we would not have delivered him up to you." So right there, that was a clue to an experienced politician like Pilate that they really didn't have the weighty evidence that they said they did. They're just saying, oh yeah, just trust us, man. We wouldn't have brought him if he didn't do anything wrong. Could you imagine if a police officer just picked you up, maybe you're out mowing your grass, cop, swings into your driveway, pulls out the gun, and you freak out. You get down, they cuff you, they throw you in the car, bring you downtown, and when you end up at the police station, they say, all right, well, what's this guy being brought down here for? And they say, just trust us. He definitely did something wrong. You got to just take our word for it. Yeah, that wouldn't feel too good. You'd think you're, you're being mishandled, maybe misidentified. I don't know. It wouldn't be cool, though. I would be freaking out. So basically, that's what happens to Jesus here. Then Pilate said to them, "You take him and judge him according to your law." Therefore the Jews said to him, "It is not lawful for us to put anyone to death," that the saying of Jesus might be fulfilled which he spoke, signifying what death he would die. In other words, Jesus had predicted this would happen. Then Pilate, entering the praetorium again, called Jesus and said to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered him, "Are you speaking for yourself about this, or did others tell you concerning me?" Pilate answered, "Am I a Jew? Your own nation and the chief priests have delivered you to me. What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would fight so that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now my kingdom is not from here." Pilate therefore said to him, "Are you a king then?" And Jesus answered, "You say rightly that I am a king. For this cause I was born, and for this cause I have come into the world, that I should bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice." Pilate said to him, "What is truth?" When he had said this, he went out again to the Jews and said to them, "I find no fault in him at all." See, Pilate knew the truth that Jesus was a good, genuine man, caught in the tangled web of the political, religious elites. He found himself hemmed into the Pharisees' narrative, and he knew that if he exonerated Jesus, that he would be cast as a weak leader who was letting a rabble-rouser go They would call him no friend of Caesar. They would do all these maneuverings to put him in a bad light and just cause him problems. When Jesus said to him, everyone who is of the truth hears my voice or listens to my voice, he was making a really interesting point. He was basically saying that truth starts on the inside. And see, in Pilate's world, the actual truth didn't really matter that much. What really mattered was, what did people believe? What was public opinion? What did the higher-ups believe? It was all about creating a narrative. Sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it, right? Look at the headlines. What does this politician say? Look at Trump and Hillary. You got the Hillary email scandal and the Benghazi scandal, and Trump is... What's the truth about Trump University, where some of the materials plagiarized? All this stuff about both of these candidates that are, in the limelight. And that's like the daily news, is a quest for truth and also a quest to obscure truth. And so our culture is like having a crisis of truth, I feel. So my challenge today is just to look at Jesus and look how he confronted this politician and how he challenged him that if you are desiring truth, if you're really on the side of truth, you're going to listen to me. You're at least going to hear what I have to say, and you're going to take me seriously. And in Pilate's mind, in his world, it wasn't about the actual truth. Everything was about spin and about perception and about the results. And so that's an interesting challenge. Jesus took this radical stance for truth, and I think we ought to do the same. So anyway, if you are out there and you are trying to learn an instrument, do not lie about your practice times. If you stink, we all know you're not practicing, you're not fooling anyone. And to close this podcast out, I almost want to make one final little comment here, that the idea of absolute truth, rock solid truth, is mocked in philosophical circles today. And I understand the tradition of it. I was actually a philosophy minor back in my undergrad years, and I understand there's this tradition in the philosophical world that goes all the way back to Plato and Descartes and our perception of the world, and is it flawed? Can our senses be trusted? All this stuff is this long-standing, several millennia discussion, several millennia old. How would you say that? This discussion's been going on for several millennia. Anyway, my undergraduate years are in my past, way back there. Anyway, for me, one test of philosophical ideas is livability. Can you live it? Can you live as if nothing is firm? No, you cannot. So if you're out there, if you're an undergrad student maybe, and you've had this idea of absolute truth challenged. Now, sure, people had different perspectives. And sure, our ability to fully grasp the truth is flawed. We can't grasp all of it. But there is a truth. There is a truth outside of ourselves, and our senses can touch it. And we can be confident. And the one reason I believe that is because you cannot live otherwise. If you try to live as if nothing is firm, as if nothing is knowable, no truth is knowable, at some point you'll forget about it. You'll forget about your doubts, and you will look both ways before you cross the street, because it's either you or the oncoming car. You will check the toaster dial, because the truth is, if the toaster dial is flipped all the way to the right, your toast will be black, right? This world has this cause and effect thing that really affects us, really touches us, and it's true. And if you're out there and you're not into philosophy, you just think that I'm being crazy, and who can really believe like that? But the truth is that when you try to bring out a discussion about truth in like the moral world, the moral context, you want to talk about right and wrong, want to talk about whether you should tell lies or not, there's this massive kickback, like, don't you tell me that there's this truth that I need to embrace, because what's true for me is true for me, and I just want to be autonomous and free to define myself in any terms I want to, and you just need to back off. And that's kind of this attitude that's out there. And I'm saying that attitude is stupid, because it's not livable. There is a truth, and we should search for it, and we should conform our lives to it as best we can. And what Jesus was saying was, the search for truth starts on the inside when we decide that we desire truth. You know, if we want to be self-defining, if we just want to spin and tell white lies and put out perception, you know, if we want to airbrush our Facebook pictures and tell little white lies at work and, I don't know, all this stuff, that's fine. But what I'm saying is we should embrace the search for truth. And the search for truth is a little painful because when that light starts to shine in to you, you will maybe see yourself for who you are. And it's not always the prettiest thing. But the cool thing is that you can be transformed. You know, the Bible says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so that's my encouragement. Truth. Go get it. Thanks for listening. My name is Matthew Seipel Anderson. This is the Telescope Podcast. You can look me up on Twitter, MSA_music. Instagram, Matthew Seipel Anderson. That's S as in Sam, E-I, P as in Paul, E-L-Anderson. Facebook, the Telescope Podcast, or just MSA, my initials. That's my music page for music that I do, lead worship. And finally, my website, mysaviorsanthem.com. Visit it, and love to hear some feedback on this episode. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
I want to see your feet up in the air right now.